Days after the discussion with Gerard, his brother, he decided to drop off at his brother's shop. It was evening and they would be getting ready to close. He entered the workshop and went to greet the boss. The boss welcomed him and had a chat with him. After a few minutes with him, he went to where the apprentices are. He greeted them and had some fun with them. He asked them about their day. He asked if they had eaten. They were surprised when he called a food vendor to come and supply them food. They started hailing him. Gerard stared at his brother, wondering what his brother planned to achieve with his generosity. When they were done with their fun time, Philip bid them goodbye and went on with Gerard. On getting to the car, Gerard asked him what that was about. Philip smiled and told him, "I did it for you." He turned on the ignition and drove off, leaving Gerard to continue with his thoughts. On a Saturday, Philip was sitting at the balcony, drinking palm wine. Gerard came to him excitedly. He sat down and after greeting his brother, how his co-apprentices have been cool with him since that day he came. "They now gist with me," he said happily. Philip encouraged him to fan the flame by also initiating talks with them. While they were seated, a neighbor walked into the gate. Attempting to go to his flat, Philip called him with an energetic voice. "Neighbor, good to see you. It's been a while. Did you travel?" After a tete-a-tete, Philip introduced Gerard to the neighbor. He is a skilled furniture maker. Kindly patronize him for any furniture needs. Philip ensured they exchanged numbers. Gerard was smiling when he left. Can you see that networking is easy? Greet people with a smile, show them some care, tell them what you do, exchange numbers, Philip lectured. 2 days later, Gerard packed his brother's plate. They had just finished eating. Gerard sat before Philip, looking sad. Philip asked him what was wrong. Gerard lamented how he tried to get someone's number the other time. The person walked out on him rudely. He said he wouldn't do that again. Philip smiled. Not everyone will accept your hand of friendship. That shouldn't stop you from going on to others who want your friendship. Humans are bridges between you and your destination. Gerard nodded. Philip asked him to promise he wouldn't stop networking. Gerard promised. "Do you have money with you?" asked Philip. Gerard said no. "You haven't asked me for money for weeks. How have you been coping?" "I have been managing what you gave me since last month," Gerard replied. Philip commended his prudent skills. He gave him more money. "Thank you, bro. I want to start earning my own money too. I have a lot of things I would like to buy," he said. Philip encouraged him to tell more people about his skill. Gerard lived a reserved life, not because he didn't want more, but that was the life he grew up knew of. Nowadays, he stares in amusement when he sees sceneries, beautiful acquisitions by his neighbors and people around him. The way his eyes light up and the sudden pain that glazes his eyes afterwards shows he felt something missing in him. He told himself he also deserved the good things of life. Whenever he wanted to get envious, he remembers his brother's voice. "You also have a chance to get to the top. No one is taking your seat." He went back to work the next day with pumped energy. He used spare woods to do personal practices. He watched his boss more, opting to do things when his boss asked for who would do them. He would go back home, get some wood and practice more. Philip took him out on weekends, from viewing centers to joint centers, to events, to seminars, and ensured they introduced him. There was an etiquette female coach that they networked with. She introduced herself as an etiquette coach after the initial greetings. Philip asked for how to enroll, and right there, Gerard was enrolled for her classes. Gerard still struggled with smiling. He forces a smile when his brother wants him to meet a person. Peculiar, the lady coach, admonished him to smile. Her enchanting smile made Gerard smile. For the next 1 month, Gerard learned from her how to be a polished man, how to dress, meet people, strike a conversation, and so on. Coupled with her friendly nature, Gerard became a very polished man. He had no trace of illiteracy in his behavior. He had finished his term as an apprentice and he had started getting jobs from the connections he made. One day, he was accused of stealing in a house he went to render home service in. He was asked to repair their wardrobe. The couple left him with the maid when they went out. When the woman got back, she claimed that her gold had gone missing. When they questioned their maid, she said she had left Gerard alone in their room at a time to attend to their child when he cried. He must have stolen it then. Mrs. Rowland refused to take it lightly as she went to Gerard house the next morning with 2 policemen to arrest him. Philip had gone to work. Gerard was yet to have his job, as he was still managing home services. Before he could say Jack, the police whisked him up to the station. He wasn't allowed to make a call until evening when he called his brother. Philip ran to the station, but they didn't grant him bail. It was late in the evening, so he had to sleep there. Philip went to a lawyer the next day for help. Unfortunately, they were up against a powerful family, and Philip didn't have enough money to hire the kind of lawyer that could get him out. He had set plans in progress to get money, but Gerard would still have to spend a couple of days in cell. Philip was very worried for him, feared for his mental state, which took him a lot of effort to rehabilitate would fall back to zero. He knew his brother had been falsely accused. Gerard had never stolen. Most times, he wouldn't even ask his brother for money until he needed it urgently. He couldn't bring himself to tell their mother about the incident. Gerard, on the other hand, went back to default settings, which was squeezing his face and keeping to himself. However, there was this cellmate, Rochas, that he met there. He had been there for 6 months. He was wrongly accused. He had no one to pursue his case, so he was left languishing there for that long. One thing struck Gerard about him: he was always happy. Right there in the cell, he would do some exercises during his free time, read some books that some prison evangelists brought to him, and discuss with Gerard on things he planned to achieve when he left the cell. He had a strong faith that he would leave one day. Many a times he would query Gerard over his unappealing look. Don't look like someone with all the problems in the world. That look only makes you ugly, he would say. Gerard would readjust his looks and get ready to listen to him. His talk sessions were always full of hope. Gerard asked him if he had some millions he planned going back to, or some connections. Rochas replied that if he had connections, he wouldn't have stayed long in the cell. I have nobody, no connection, but I have hope. This shot Gerard to the marrow. He didn't expect someone like that to be happy. He decided to borrow a leaf from him. He made up his mind that nothing would reduce the worth of his life. Not anything, not anyone. He would give his life all it took to achieve success. A week later, his brother was able to secure his bail. Philip hugged his brother, apologizing for not being able to get him out on time. He took him home, gave him some food, and sat with him to listen to him. Philip had plans to enroll him for therapy, but Gerard told him he was okay. Philip didn't believe. He looked forward to more evidences that would prove him right. To his surprise, Gerard woke up the next day, dressed up, and said he was going out to look for a job. Philip was of the opinion that he should rest, but Gerard smiled and told him he had enough rest in the prison. This is just a setback. I won't let it mar my life. He went out, leaving Philip pleasantly surprised. Gerard came back that day with the news that he got a job in a furniture company. Philip asked him how he did it. He said he simply worked there, pitched his skills to the boss. He was given some practicals to do, and he did them perfectly. Philip was so elated. Gerard became more intentional with his look and his dressing. He had a friend at work whom he gave a task. Let me know when I am frowning, please. It sounded funny to the friend, but he did a good job at checkmating the excess frowning attitude. Later on, clients found it easy to come make inquiries from him. His etiquette classes had developed in him great communication skills. He learned how to explain, in simple terms, details about their services. This retained many clients for the company. He was promoted at work some months later. He was able to rent an apartment of his own. He invested in having a workshop of his own. The next year, he sued the couple that accused him wrongly. He had saved for that purpose for the past 1 year. He got a good lawyer for himself, and after all back and forth, it was discovered that there was no concrete evidence that he stole their good. He requested damages, which ran into millions of naira. The couple had no choice than to pay it or risk going to jail. Gerard got the money, relocated to a better city, started his business on a high scale, and got himself a wife. One day, Philip got a package while he was resting at home. A delivery agent had delivered it to him few minutes ago. He opened it and saw a brand new suit in it. He saw a note, and it turned out to be from Gerard. The content goes thus: Brother, thank you for always being my shoulder to lean on and my confidant. You have shown me what true brotherhood means, and I am thankful for your unwavering support in every aspect of my life. I couldn't ask for a better brother than you. Philip smiled while reading the letter. He rested his head on his chair as he savored the sweet words from his brother.